The Empire of Japan was the historical Japanese nation-state that existed from the Meiji Restoration on January 3, 1868 to the enactment of the 1947 Constitution of modern Japan. Imperial Japan's rapid industrialization and militarization under the slogan Fukoku Kyohei led to its emergence as a world power and the establishment of a colonial empire. Economic and political turmoil in the 1920s led to the rise of militarism, eventually culminating in Japan's membership in the Axis alliance and the conquest of a large part of the Asia-Pacific region. At the height of its power in 1942, the Empire of Japan ruled over a land area spanning 7,400,000 square kilometers, making it one of the largest maritime empires in history. After several large-scale military successes during the Second Sino-Japanese War and the Pacific War, the Empire of Japan also gained notoriety for its war crimes against the peoples of the countries it conquered. After suffering many defeats and following the Soviet Union's declaration of war against Japan and invasion of Manchuria, and the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, however, the Empire of Japan surrendered to the Allies on August 15, 1945. A period of occupation by the Allies followed the surrender, and a new constitution was created with American involvement. The Constitution came into force on May 3, 1947, officially dissolving the empire. American occupation and Japan's reconstruction of the country continued well into the 1950s, eventually forming the current nation-state whose full title is the State of Japan, or simply rendered, Japan, in English. The emperors during this time, which spanned the entire Meiji and Taisho, and the lesser part of the Showa eras, are now known in Japan by their posthumous names, which coincide with those era names: Emperor Meiji, Emperor Taisho, and Emperor Showa. Terminology. The historical state is frequently referred to as Empire of Japan, or the Japanese Empire, or Imperial Japan, in English. In Japanese it is referred to as Dai Nippon Teikoku, the literal translation of which is Greater Japanese Empire. Dai, Great, Nippon, Japanese, Teikoku, Empire. This meaning is significant in terms of geography, encompassing Japan and its surrounding areas. The nomenclature Empire of Japan had existed since the anti-Tokugawa domains, Satsuma and Choshu, which founded their new government during the Meiji Restoration, with the intention of forming a modern state to resist Western domination. Due to its name in kanji characters and its flag, it was also called the Empire of the Sun. Meiji Restoration. After 2 centuries, the seclusion policy, or sakoku, under the shoguns of the Edo period came to an end when the country was forced open to trade by the Convention of Kanagawa in 1854. The following years saw increased foreign trade and interaction. Commercial treaties between the Tokugawa shogunate and Western countries were signed, in large part due to the humiliating terms of these unequal treaties. The shogunate soon faced internal hostility, which materialized into a radical, xenophobic movement, the Sono Joy. In March 1863, the order to expel barbarians was issued. Although the shogunate had no intention of enforcing the order, it nevertheless inspired attacks against the shogunate itself and against foreigners in Japan. The Namamugi incident during 1862 led to the murder of an Englishman, Charles Lennox Richardson, by a party of samurai from Satsuma. The British demanded reparations and responded by bombarding the port of Kagoshima in 1863. For Richardson's death, the Tokugawa government agreed to pay an indemnity. Shelling of foreign shipping in Shimonoseki and attacks against foreign property led to the bombardment of Shimonoseki by a multinational force in 1864. The Choshu clan also carried out the failed coup known as the Kinmun Incident. The Satsuma-Choshu alliance was established in 1866 to combine their efforts to overthrow the Tokugawa Bakufu. In early 1867, Emperor Komei died of smallpox and was replaced by his son, Crown Prince Mutsuhito. On November 9, 1867, Tokugawa Yoshinobu resigned from his post and authorities to the emperor, agreeing to be the instrument for carrying out imperial orders. The Tokugawa shogunate had ended. However, while Yoshinobu's resignation had created a nominal void at the highest level of government, his apparatus of state continued to exist. Moreover, the shogunal government, the Tokugawa family in particular, remained a prominent force in the evolving political order and retained many executive powers, a prospect hardliners from Satsuma and Choshu found intolerable. On January 3, 1868, Satsuma Choshu forces seized the imperial palace in Kyoto, and the following day had the 15-year-old Emperor Meiji declare his own restoration to full power. Although the majority of the Imperial Consultative Assembly was happy with the formal declaration of direct rule by the court and tended to support a continued collaboration with the Tokugawa, Saigo Takamori threatened the assembly into abolishing the title shogun, and ordered the confiscation of Yoshinobu's lands. On January 17, 1868, Yoshinobu declared that he would not be bound by the proclamation of the Restoration and called on the court to rescind it. On January 24, Yoshinobu decided to prepare an attack on Kyoto, occupied by Satsuma and Choshu forces. This decision was prompted by his learning of a series of arson attacks in Edo, starting with the burning of the outworks of Edo Castle, the main Tokugawa residence. Boshin War. The Boshin War was fought between January 1868 and May 1869. The alliance of samurai from southern and western domains and court officials had now secured the cooperation of the young Emperor Meiji, who ordered the dissolution of the 200-year-old Tokugawa shogunate. Tokugawa Yoshinobu launched a military campaign to seize the emperor's court at Kyoto. However, the tide rapidly turned in favor of the smaller but relatively modernized imperial faction and resulted in defections of many daimyo to the imperial side. The Battle of Toba-Fushimi was a decisive victory in which a combined army from Choshu, Tosa, and Satsuma domains defeated the Tokugawa army. A series of battles were then fought in pursuit of supporters of the shogunate. Edo surrendered to the imperial forces and afterwards Yoshinobu personally surrendered. Yoshinobu was stripped of all his power by Emperor Meiji and most of Japan accepted the emperor's rule. Pro-Tokugawa remnants, however, then retreated to northern Honshu and later to Izedo, where they established the breakaway Republic of Izedo. An expeditionary force was dispatched by the new government and the Izedo Republic forces were overwhelmed. The siege of Hakodate came to an end in May 1869 and the remaining forces surrendered. 5. Charter Oath. The Charter Oath was made public at the enthronement of Emperor Meiji of Japan on April 7, 1868. The oath outlined the main aims and the course of action to be followed during Emperor Meiji's reign, setting the legal stage for Japan's modernization. The Meiji leaders also aimed to boost morale and win financial support for the new government. Its 5 provisions consisted of establishment of deliberative assemblies, involvement of all classes in carrying out state affairs, the revocation of sumptuary laws and class restrictions on employment, replacement of evil customs with the just laws of nature, an international search for knowledge to strengthen the foundations of imperial rule.